IVM.
Helping us pay our bills this week is Setu IMAX. For more information, go to setu.in.
Hey everybody, welcome to IVM Likes. My name is Naveen and we are here with a whole new round of pop culture recommendations and discussions. If you haven't noticed, it's episode 69, which means we're gonna get naughty and talk about some naughty stuff in the second half. But before we do that, a word from our sponsors. I have something cool to share with you guys. Here on IVM Likes, we spend a lot of time collectively watching different kinds of screens, like a phone screen or laptop screen or tablet or the big screen. And all of these things can take a toll on your eyes. Like, in fact, if a lot of my friends are watching stuff with me, they end up rubbing their eyes, which is a very common indication that they're taking too much strain on their eyes. So here's a cool thing that you can check out to make sure your eyes get the rest they require. Setu IMAX is a modern health supplement which ensures your eyes stay protected as you enjoy all that screen time for longer without any strain. Setu IMAX is powered by natural carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin. That's a mouthful, isn't it? So make sure that you go to www.setu.in and check out their great product. And if you put the code SETU50, that is SETU 50, all caps, even the numbers, you can get a 50% off on your first purchase. And we also have a cool contest for you. If you share a screenshot of what you're watching on your phone right now, whether it's your Instagram feed or your favorite YouTube channel or anything else, and upload it to your Instagram story using hashtag IMAX, which is EYEMAX, and tag @SetuIndia, and you get a chance to win a TV binging kit. So protect your eyes, or rather screen-proof them. They are precious. Alright, joining me today in the studio is Abbas. Hi Abbas.
Hey man.
Why so sad?
It's just my face.
It's because you don't get any 69ing.
That too, yes.
Yes, and also there is Priyanka.
Hi. I don't want to comment on if I get anything on.
I'm not even asking.
Good.
Cool, but also joining us as a guest recommender.
Hello.
Recommendo
Before.
on the show is Farhad.
Hi.
Farhad is my co-host for the Culture Vulture segment on my podcast, Keeping It Queer.
And also an avid 71er. Everyone's 69's I 71.
Teach us that later. Okay.
Later.
I'm actually imagining that now.
You'll get it.
Oh yeah, 7.
I got a Tumblr GIF for reference.
Yeah. It
I got
makes
a
sense.
Tumblr
It
GIF
makes
for
sense.
reference.
I want to see this.
Okay.
Okay. We'll also share the Tumblr GIF with you guys if you're interested.
Can't.
DM us.
You cannot.
But before we go into the naughty stuff again, as I said, we have a bunch of recommendations to throw out. So why don't we start with you, Abbas?
Alright, so I'm recommending a documentary today. It's called Too Funny to Fail. It came out in 2017. It's basically about the conception and cancellation of the Dana Carvey show, which
I love that show.
was on air for a brief period in 1996.
2 seasons.
No, 7 episodes. It got canned after 7
I
episodes.
thought there were like one season with 3 episodes and like that.
No.
Okay.
So the reason why this show has become legendary in pop culture is because the writers and actors on this show went on to do great things.
Yeah.
So a couple of names on the show: Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, Louis C.K., Robert Smigel, Dana Carvey himself. There was a writer from Seinfeld who jumped over to the Dana Carvey show. So this was essentially set to be the next big comedy sketch show because Dana Carvey was just coming out of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And he was the rage. Like he had killed
It was
on...
Garth.
Yeah. He had killed on Letterman. He was killing on Tonight Show. He was set to be... This was set to be the next big comedy show. So the documentary basically tries to break down what was going in the writer's mind, and it's a very good sort of look at show business in general. The thing to notice here is that the show was gonna come on ABC, and right after they were signed on, ABC was sold to Disney.
Okay.
So there's this one particular moment that Stephen Colbert and other writers talk about where there was a full page spread on a magazine where Dana Carvey was right next to Kermit Kermit the Frog. And like they were not going for that kind of humor at all.
Yeah.
They were going to be a lead-in to Home Improvement, which was a family show.
Yeah.
And the very first sketch on the Dana Kavi show was Dana Kavi doing an impersonation of Bill Clinton breastfeeding a baby, right?
Yeah.
It was a huge shock for the people who were watching this.
Yeah.
And how the documentary plays out is that so they get all the writers to speak about what they were thinking and how they were going crazy with the sketches and how they wrote. And subsequently, they also interview the TV executives. So it's a very good compare and contrast as to how creative people think and how the TV execs think, because all kind of ideas that they would pitch to them, they would shoot down. Then they would take their shooting down of the ideas and make sketches out of them. So they did that. So it's a very good. It's also a great look into how you have to be patient when you're in the creative show business, because people like Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell were nobody back then, but they still loved it. They still totally put their heart and soul into it, and today they are where they are.
That running Beatles gag they have throughout the show is hilarious.
Yeah,
but all of them do like Beatles impersonations, and especially like Dana Kavi as Paul McCartney is just brilliant as gold. And so, like that one sketch about like waiters who get grossed out
nauseous, nauseous while reading the menu.
Yeah, so they're like telling you the menu, but also getting pukish with every passing.
So Colbert actually says that he got picked up from the Daily Show because someone saw that one sketch. So in the larger sense, it all was worth it in the end. So if you're a comedy fan, if you're someone who loves comedy, it's highly recommended for you. But even if you don't, it's a great look at how show business makes you get where you are eventually. And so Too Funny to Fail is my recommendation.
Where can we catch it?
It's on the internet, find it out. Or if you're in the US, you can find it on Hulu. If you're in India, you know where to get it.
You find it on Zulu.
Zulu, yes.
It's definitely a pirated site like that.
This is giving me an idea to work on a documentary on you, Naveen.
Why?
Let's wait for a year or two.
Yeah, she's essentially saying you're not funny now.
Failure to launch forever.
No, I mean your interesting character.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This narrative, I don't know why is taking up the space over here.
Yeah.
But
now I'm thinking of Sarah Jessica Parker, because you said failure to launch.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
Did you see her Met Gala garment? She had like the whole Mother Mary.
Wait, but I don't know. You got the whole the whole Christian,
the Catholic Bible convention.
Is there a theme?
There was a theme, yeah.
But that's the standard theme every year, Christian,
I
Catholic,
don't think so.
was
This was probably like the first time they did this.
Even Priyanka Chopra looked a little weird.
She looked like Big Papa Pump.
Scott Steiner.
And my favorite was like Lena Waithe saying the whole theme and coming in massive rainbow robes, yeah. Like which opened up like what do you call those, wingspans? Yeah, so it was quite something. Priyanka, recommendation time.
I am recommending Ravina Arora. She is this sexy singer-songwriter from New York. And I think 6 days ago she released this video it's called Honey. And extremely, so the first few seconds just give you this vibe about like the 1970s, 80s.
I actually thought of 90s R&B when I heard it. Like so reminiscent of 90s R&B, R. Kelly vibes. Yeah.
Like very retro, of course, and taking you back to how wearing gold was cool, and there's sunflowers in the hair, and it's just, she's made everything so hipster. Yeah. And I think I like both the video and the song equally. Yeah. Extremely sensual song.
Hot guys.
Yeah.
Including a very hot Sardarji.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I'm Googling it as we speak.
Right now. And it's, great dusky skin. Like, people are just themselves. It's all about, they're communicating a lot while they're not doing too much. Yeah. So, yeah.
So I just recently discovered this song too. And yesterday I had this boy over for a date. And we had established that we would not hook up. Like, it was just he's a pescatarian. So he was like, I just want to come over, eat a lot of fish. And that's about it. And I was like, yeah, sure. We'll just meet up and eat a lot of fish. I'll cook everything. And then this song came on. And suddenly he's like, very hot, no? Like, he took off his shirt. Like, he had a sleeveless underneath. I think the song did that. So Ravina Arora knows where it's at.
Yes. The power of the song.
Ravina Arora making gay boys happy.
Yeah.
I'm not put out, by the way.
I trust you shouldn't, like, you're better than that for that.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And next up is my recommendation. I'm recommending a book today. It's been a while since I've read something, but recently I've been reading this one book, which is a book you should ideally not go through in one go, even though it's supposed to, because it's like based on an entire stand-up special act.
Oh, okay.
So the book is called A Horse Walks Into a Bar, and it's a book written first in Hebrew by David Grossman and now is in English, but it's entirely based upon this one guy's narrative who's like a Supreme Court or a big judge who's now retired and like is a loner in life, and he gets a call from his friend who's a long time friend, and they share a secret, and he's called him to see his show. But at the show, he describes the entire venue and the kind of people you see in different pockets, like the kind of lighting and everything, like the whole setup of a comedy club. You're in there, and then the act starts. And while he's talking about the act, we go into flashbacks into the narrative to find out about this young guy whose name is Doale, and we find out about his childhood and how he was weird and different than everybody else, and the certain tragedies from his life that shaped his stand-up act, and we understand why. And the whole book's leading basically into this one crescendo where there's like a proper turning point, and for that reason alone you should probably pace yourself through the book, because it's hilarious and joyful but also very dark and sad at the same time. So definitely a must read if you're a stand-up comedy fan or a fan of something that you understand from the psyche of a performer and what happens behind that big picture and how it shapes, because this guy in the current day and age, the stand-up guy, is pretty well established. He's a famous guy now.
Okay.
So to see him unraveling on stage is also quite something. So that's what the whole book is about.
I just found it dark through and out. Like, I know it was a stand-up routine. There were hardly, because even the jokes are all about Palestine and like.
Yeah, but it's hilarious.
So,
like, if
I don't know. I just constantly
of
felt like shit. This is, like you said, the crescendo. I just thought it's gonna end up with like some really random ass shit happening. But yeah, it was a great book. I wish I would have paced myself. I tried to go for it in one go, and it was a little heavy.
So it won the Man Booker Prize for 2017. So
okay.
So
who's the writer again?
David Grossman.
Oh, David Grossman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a horse walks into a bar, and then something happens.
And then that's the pilot for BoJack Horseman.
Back in the 90s, Ravina was a thing. See?
Shit, I don't even know why I laughed so hard.
Cool. Farhad, what do you have for us to recommend?
Okay, so I was going to recommend Westworld, but then I heard your Dana Kavi recommendation, so I am going to recommend Bob's Burgers.
Oh,
yeah, it's funny.
Great show.
Solely because I don't think, apart from Tumblr, that show isn't like bursting onto the
it's
scene yet.
It's
like Rick and Morty
one-liners.
becomes one-liners. You know what I love the most about Bob's Burgers is that if you notice, every time there's a scene running, at any given point 3 to 4 to 5 people are talking. So the beauty of the show is, and that's something I saw in Arrested Development too earlier, where when you rewatch an episode, you might not pick one person's sentence and you might pick up someone else's sentence, and each time everyone is unanimously so funny. I remember the first time I watched it, obviously Tina was my favorite character. The second time I saw it, I thought Louise was my favorite character, then the mother. But just, now it turns out everybody is my favorite character, because each time I just learn something so much because I focus on one person more than the other.
Yes, because that's how we actually talk in real life. There's like even right now at the podcasting thing, we try to like not overstep. But while we're not talking like this, behind the scenes, we're obviously like talking over each other.
Yeah.
And that's the chaos of life.
And so consistently funny, very rare to pick a bad episode. Like, I don't remember if I had to. I think there was one episode where Gene finds a talking toilet. Do you know that one?
I don't remember.
He finds a talking toilet in the forest, and I think it's one of the funniest episodes of any TV show I've ever seen. But yeah, it's just so, it's in the eighth season, I believe, and it is so consistently funny, never slip. I just love that show. So
Awesome.
Bob's Burgers.
I agree. It should be more famous than it actually is.
Because on Tumblr it's the shit, but like usually I'm just like, everyone's like, oh, Rick and Morty and Family Guy.
But Bob's Burger and King of the Hill, I'm quite confused like why they haven't like broke into, because even Pamela Adlon is then King of the Hill, and her voiceover artistry is there now. She's also like making a lot of money because of a new TV show, which basically is like female Louis. Let's all agree.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, have you seen
Better
that?
Things?
Better Things.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's
Is
good.
it still produced by him though?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like she'll obviously have to
I'd
cut
still
ties.
watch it, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, but they won't like make it It won't be a selling point.
Won't give him credit.
Oh, no.
It's all about the credits. All right,
Horse
so let's
walks into the bar too.
and gets no credits.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a small break now, and we'll come back and talk about erotica.
71.
Yeah. It's IVM here, let's go. We the IVM kids on the block over here. Just to talk, taking a break from producing all day. Coming on this podcast cause we got stuff to say. IVM Daily is the name of the show. Monday to Friday, we ready to go. Talking about stuff in our head. We might even talk about our favorite bread. Signing out, it's IVM here, the podcast network that's in your ear.
Catch IVM Daily Monday to Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to IVM Likes, you guys, and we are here, and half of us are queer, at least.
Yeah.
And we are talking about erotica.
Priyanka likes to keep her options open also, I have heard.
What rubbish?
Okay, cool.
What does that mean?
Do you like to keep your options open?
No.
Like the way it spoke about Ravina, I think, casts a shadow upon...
I appreciate all genders and how they are and
You're
everything.
pansexual.
No, I am straight.
Okay, cool.
She just appreciates
I appreciate.
from afar.
I
would
acknowledge. I
appreciate.
appreciate.
Cool.
Yes.
So,
I'm glad you're gay.
me too, man. Erotica, let's just talk about that. When was the first exposure to reading or watching something scandalous?
Oh my god.
And
Who's going first?
yeah, doing something behind your mom and dad's back.
First exposure to erotica. I have an elder sister.
Why is there stress on tikka? Is chicken tikka going to play a role?
Indian erotica.
Yeah, I was going through a menu, it said chicken breast. I'm like, what's that? No, so my elder sister used to read a bunch of Mills and Boon's books. The covers were very, very attractive. They were...
You appreciated them.
I appreciated them.
Yes.
And it's like every cover had a very specific look to it, where glossy, very
American.
chiseled bodies.
The dude just rode a horse.
Exactly, and they are hugging in a specific way.
Yeah,
So I think I haven't read that much erotica, but those covers did definitely intrigue me a lot. So that was my first exposure.
Yeah, man, same. Even I have older sisters, both of them reading Mills and Boons and stuff, and Sydney Sheldon as well. So yeah, Mills and Boons definitely like has some really descriptive stuff, but Sydney Sheldon would I think he would experiment that stuff in real life and then write about it because it would feel like very similar. And there's stuff that the heroines in his books have done that I've tried in real life and they're quite fun. So I'm just saying, he has a very penchant for writing this, and I think it comes from the fact that he had this whole Broadway and other very commercial side of writing that made him money.
Right.
But what he could write in the novels was very himself.
But
And
the Sydney Sheldon covers kind of still it used to be like a woman on a satin sheet, but there would be a gun behind next to her or something. So there was that little thrill aspect to it. Mills and Boons is nothing. You're getting what you're seeing on the cover.
What about you, Farhad?
So my dad had a library when I was a kid.
Okay.
So again, there was a lot of Mills and Boons around, but I used to always find that super tame even for a kid. But he also used to have letters to Penthouse, if you remember. Do you remember letters to Penthouse?
I've never read any.
Oh my god, they used to be amazing. Probably they wouldn't say penis, they'd say cock for cock and vagina, pussy, shit like that. But what I used to love was I remember first I read Letters to Penthouse 4. I directly started with 4, and basically I used to love it because it was broken down according to categories, chapters were broken. So there used to be boy meets boy, boy meets girl, someone's watching, which used to be just assorted 3 to 4. Each section would have 3 to 4 stories. So boy meets boy would have gay sex, 3 to 4 this. But someone's watching would be guys, let's say this dude loves to watch his wife get so he'd sort of leave, but actually he's just in the opposite building looking at his wife get Then shit got really weird after Letters to Penthouse 13. I think because there was an amputee section. I'll never forget that amputee section. There was a military section. Like they really went very hardcore. Yeah.
Where would you find amputees who need sex?
Yeah. But side note, I had a friend who had sex with a legless woman recently, and he said it's the best sex he's had. So just throwing this out there. But yeah, Letters to Penthouse.
He said or she said?
He said that it was the best sex.
Who said?
The dude
guy
who had sex with the legless woman.
Okay, I thought you had.
No.
I lost track of this conversation at some point. I was still imagining
I just suddenly jumped.
the
I'm
military
so sorry.
penthouse.
I just jumped, but yeah.
So did the guy on the bomb.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Thanks for leaving me choke.
That's what she said in Mills and Boots. Priyanka, do you have anything to like? You said you don't have like much of an experience.
I don't remember being. I was just, for some weird reason, I was always scared of any nudity, like for some reason, and not like most of my schooling was sort of convent like.
all this in school.
No, but you know, like even the exposure, because we were just girls half the time, so you're that's how you perceive these things.
Sorry,
in the sense
convent? Is that Catholic? Or is that where you were going? Was this a convent school?
No, it wasn't a convent school, but
okay.
it was a private school. But we basically, the girls would go in the morning, and the guys would come in the afternoon.
Okay.
As in, we had different timings. So since then,
I would say guys would arrive at school in the afternoon.
yes, arrive and not
come.
come. This word has been used, misused, and God knows. But come on, it's the 69th episode,
Yeah,
so we
exactly.
are free to use these terms. And
Cool.
but as I said, we were sort of like scared to see any skin. I think when I sort of understood what American Pie was, I was in like the 11th grade or something like that. And I watched the first 10 minutes and I said, I can't watch
The
this. And my
infamous
mom
apple pie
walks.
scene.
Huh?
The infamous apple pie scene.
Yes, yes. And just, I was always scared that someone would walk in on me, like totally just screw my happiness. I have an older brother and I've got him watching porn.
That took a
But he was
wild
like dusting his table, and I see something on the screen, and I just walk in, and he just like shuts this off. But I've never, as I said, like we were just inquisitive.
Was he watching it while dusting his
Yeah.
screen?
Dusting and busting at the same time.
Yes, but I didn't see stuff. Okay.
Okay.
I
Things
didn't
were
see.
combusting on the screen.
Oh god.
Nice, nice.
But you know what, the thing about us growing up like in the mid to late 90s was that censorship wasn't that strict on TV as it is now.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
MGM and TNT would actually screen these like semi-erotic films in the
Yeah.
night,
Yeah,
and they would
semi-blue
just
kind of,
so they would just blur the required parts, but the scene would still continue.
Oh no, man! I remember there used to be MCM, a channel.
MCM or MGM? something.
MGM was the old English
Okay.
movies. MCM used to be a music channel.
Okay.
They were the first ones to play a lot of French, like Mojo, Lady, and all of that. They were like they were very cool, fresh music. But then it used to shut at 11, and then around 2 in the night they used to like. Sorry, it's not MGM. It's TBT. I remember
Okay.
it was
no,
TBT,
okay.
and I remember they used to have a show
you
with
went Pune,
David
that's why
Duchovny.
MCM.
You ever saw the show called
Silk
Lady
Stocking?
in Red Shoes?
No.
It used to be, every episode was David Duchovny coming to a bar, sitting down, and then he opens a letter that a woman has written to him about her sexual experience, and then it was just sort of fade to this sexual, and it was like a double X, what we used to call that.
Okay.
Do you remember that, by the way? Double X, triple X,
Yeah.
4X, matlab ye rahega, 5X, matlab vomit rahega. Like it used to go, there's just 7X, matlab animal rahega.
3D bhi rahega.
Ekdam, like, you know.
You feel the vibration.
Well, I remember remember AXN used to have this show called Silk Stockings.
Yeah.
And they also had VIP with Pamela Anderson.
And Hot or Not.
Barbed wire.
Barbed wire.
Oh my
That was quite
God.
something.
Yeah.
But Hot or Not would basically be people walking
Hot or Not. Oh my
on
God.
the stage of a reality show with a lot of people, and then they would like start stripping.
It was no time for Tinder.
Yeah.
Dude walks in, hot not.
So we had that whole middle layer. I remember I was caught a bunch of times, like you caught your brother. Like I was caught once while watching Titanic on Z Studio because it was like not censored back then. So the whole painting scene is just there. Her boobs are in your face.
Yeah.
And then FTV was quite
Yes,
censored.
FTV.
And I don't know. Like, do you have any reason to explain why, like, when you're growing up to become like a queer boy eventually, why do you want to see like women and have that whole allure of having watched something scandalous, but didn't do anything for me?
First of all, for me, FTV, the first half of my life, FTV was that, oh my God, they have that special section between shows where, where they would show the snippets of this time Hottest Boys, or, I don't know what that section was called, but just like Boys of Paris, Boys of like Milan.
I know what you're talking
So that
about.
was one thing I had to wait for, but the older I got, I stopped liking it for the sensational value and I started liking it more for the music.
Right.
Like I remember when Shazam was a thing and then FTV was still in my life. Now I don't watch FTV, but like I used to constantly remember, I just Shazam, what's this song? But a little Project Runway Tabika vibes. So
Then they put child lock on the thing.
I know,
God.
right?
Yeah.
Annoying. Then they got Dish TV, so I had all the controls after that. So it's okay. But anything like moving beyond from that, that's like the adolescence factor.
Yeah.
But now like you were talking like on Keeping It Queer, we always discuss aesthetic porn.
Yeah.
And like how it's much more than just like sex, and
Totally.
sometimes it's about the ambience and the dialogue work also. Like we have always been exposed to hammy as dialogue in porno.
Your plumbing is broken.
Yeah.
God.
I got some pizza, but I've got no seasoning.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff, and even like do you have something to recommend in that regard?
Oh man, so much as I don't know where to begin. Like what? Recommend what? Like porn?
Aesthetic porn.
Aesthetic porn. Helix Studios.
Yeah,
Helix,
spoke about this.
We
yes.
did, right?
Yeah,
Helix Studios Flower. I think that is such a beautiful 10-minute short film. Man, that is beautiful. I don't even consider it porn. I recently, not recently, but a while ago, my friend told me that nowadays how porn, because almost everything has been explored, how it's moving away from the concept of porn itself is evolving. So I'll give you an example. He gave me a VCD. Okay, first of all, I don't even know what to play it on, but he gave me a VCD and it had a 30-second clip of it was a Japanese porn film, and 30 seconds it had 10 minute, three different clips. He said it's the rage in Japan right now, but basically in all the three clips, the situation was that there's a girl who suddenly needs to urinate, but she's in a situation where she can't. So most of so I'll give you an example. The first one was this couple's getting married in a park, and suddenly this girl needs to pee, the bride to be. She needs to pee. So she's like, okay, 1 second. She stalls the wedding before this, and then she starts running around the park. She rides a horse like Julia Roberts in Runaway Bride for some odd reason at some point. Then she's on the street. She asks the hotel guy, and he's like, no, you can't just go to pee here. And and then that happens for 9 minutes, and then it ends with her just stopping, and then there's a small yellow stain forming on her dress, and that's it. The scene ends. And he told me this is a big deal. And then I'm like, and there was no nudity in it.
Right.
But the kink is such that, this...
You feel release at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know. There's some guy who's getting off to that sort of shit in Japan. Or multiple men. Because it's
Japanese have moved way beyond our perception of what...
But it's so funny, right? Because you watch Japanese porn, they still pixelate... they still pixelate the genitals. I never get that. You know exactly what it looks like. It's just pixelated enough.
Yeah, but hentai on the other hand goes crazy with the whole description of it.
Even anime sometimes, I've been watching, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Shokugeki ni Soma. Have you heard of this new show? I watch it because it's a cooking show. It's actually an anime about cooking and how this boy gets accepted in the world's toughest cooking culinary school and stuff. But the thing is, every time someone tastes his food, her bra explodes. There are like squid tentacles coming out of her vagina. It goes insane because this food is so. It's all like metaphorical. It's really metaphorical, but like when you watch it, you actually get it. I get strangely turned on when I watch that because there's butter involved, there's pork fat, there's like assorted fucking shit happening in that show. It's amazing.
We need a crossover with Gordon Ramsay to happen. Cool. So any last throw-in?
I have a couple of recommendations. So there's this filmmaker called Erica Lust who does these erotic films where she asks people to send in their stories, and based off of those she makes porn videos. Her company is called X Confessions. So she's done a TED talk about erotica and the need to have sex. So I would recommend check her TED talk out. And there are two films which stand out in my mind when it comes to erotic films. One is a film that won the Cannes film Palme d'Or, which is Blue is the Warmest Color. It's about two young girls who fall in love. So there's some pretty intense sex scenes in that film, but then it's also about loving and loss. And the other is Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac.
I was going to talk about that. F*** you, Abbas.
Cool, then you can take a cue.
It's right here. So like let's both talk about it.
Sure.
Have you watched it?
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay, have you watched it, Priyanka?
I have clearly not watched anything that anybody has recommended. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
She said she was scandalized by American
American
Pie.
And you have been talking about
even
the kings and stuff.
you're going to shoot me, but I find Game of Thrones pretty like...
No, that's very tame. The sex in Game of Thrones.
That's the HBO ke saath aata hi hai. HBO show is a little sex.
Yeah, but like first 5 seconds just like puts me off. Like I can't concentrate on the story.
It's so
First
funny.
5 seconds.
It's just like
White Walker
the
scene.
first very episode.
Yeah, zombies killing people.
Oh, it's those brother sister having sex.
And
then they push the kid down.
Yeah,
that's how it ends.
It's just not happening.
American Pie messed you up. It's so funny she said that because, you know, being on the boys' side of things, I always felt like all my straight friends developed such insecurities because of American Pie. Right. They felt like every prom night, every graduation, they're supposed to get laid. But to know that even girls got affected in some way, it's nice.
Yeah. So an Nymphomaniac, dude, it's like quite it's a 2-volume movie which like basically puts one girl in the middle of it who's like a sex addict and needs to keep having sex, and through that she basically has all these adventures with different men, and like we find her in like one part of the movie like almost dead on the streets, so we have to trace the pattern back to what happened as well. And the sex is pretty like in your face and there, you know, there's no holding back. I think Lars von Trier is quite known for that.
That's also, I was surprised by just how funny the movie was. It's not all dark and all gory. It's also very funny, and I think it kind of tries to remove that label when you label women as sluts or whores just because they're having sex with multiple people. This film actually takes a look at
the psyche behind
that, why it's absolutely...
This is not with Willem Dafoe.
No, it's the one with Stellan Skarsgård, Uma Thurman, Christian Slater.
The William Dafoe one was Antichrist.
God.
But the lead actress is the same.
Okay.
Charlotte Gainsbourg.
Okay.
Yes. And Stellan Skarsgård is such a daddy. Quite admire him.
All Skarsgårds are great.
Yeah, even his sons are... Both are great actors now.
Yeah.
Bill and Alexander Skarsgård. Great. So do watch Nymphomaniac.
Hey, I have a random recommendation. Have you heard of this YouTube channel called Pop-Up Porno?
No.
So because you said, you know, she, what was, I forgot her name, but Erica Lust.
Erica Lust,
Yeah. So basically, this is a YouTube channel. It's called Pop-Up Porno. Basically, you send in a story and they make a pop-up book of your story.
Oh, nice.
A beautiful pop-up book. Just YouTube Grinder pop-up book. You will get such a beautiful, and don't imagine like Bacche jaisa pop-up book. It's like a really intricate, beautiful pop-up book.
So they have M for M,
F for F, they have like assorted sex stories but told as pop-up books.
Isn't that again beautiful that like, you know, we can, in this time and age, like even in the studio right now, we can have like queer representation as well in this, because for many years porn has been like, has just been man and woman, and that's been like, you know, shoved down our throat. Even all these love stories over the years have just been that, or intricate romantic stories. But now we're stepping up in these boundaries. Even YouTube videos, they are taking the pains to understand that there are different romances. There's so much color and variety to sex in general. So it's quite good to know that we're going in a right space with Especially the Japanese, they are just like...
They've gone
to tentacles.
They're in 3031.
They're having sex with robots now, so that's, that's quite something. So, yes.
I found one robot pretty hot. I saw one of these sex robots that...
in Japan?
Yeah, she was hot. Like, oh my god.
Nice.
As in, there's like a proper dismantling, like you have your YouTube unboxing videos. I saw one of those videos, and I think it's on Pornhub, and her ass, and I was like, Jesus.
Dude, like, have you watched Rick and Morty?
A little, yeah.
There's an episode in that when Morty has sex with a space robot for pleasure, but then that she ends up giving birth to a creature.
Oh shit.
And now Morty is her father. And the creature is like a rage monster, so it's quite funny.
Shit.
Yep. So...
This reminds me... I'm sorry, I've woken up now.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it was more like when I watched the movie Her, Scarlett Johansson.
Right.
Okay, it was a lot to do with voice.
Yeah.
And it just sort of connected that, voice can be so central, and the whole idea of just being curious about who is at the other end of it, how does this person look, and you can imagine the life and this person's body without even seeing them. I think for me, that was sort of extremely
Well, recently they found out who the voice behind Siri was, and trust me, you won't feel so much.
Really?
Yeah, it's an older middle-aged woman.
Most of these, so even whoever's been doing our Vodafone IVRs for the longest time is like a 50-year-old woman, and also like I figured this out.
Like one.
Huh? Yeah, so the whole idea is how voice can reach to you centrally, and I think that's probably my pick of anything that's
is there
sexy.
any audio erotica shows that we can like?
So if you go to literotica.com, they have an audio section where you can get men and women reading stories to you with passionate. What do you call it? Play in your ears.
Audio play.
Panache.
Yes.
Exuberism.
More like.
Yeah, with ebullience, all kinds of adjectives. It's going. With gusto. They read the stories out with gusto. We were talking about one site for
Nifty.org that I had since I had those VGA camera phones.
Yeah, Nifty.org lets you have your own stories, and you can
again it was the format was similar to your letters to Penthouse, which was according to college, uniform, urination. Urination was an entire section. My favorite was fan fiction because I would watch Harry Potter, and I would watch Lord of the Rings, and then there were stories, porn stories related. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I still visit it sometimes to see, because it's great, right? First of all, I love the fact that, I still, this is 7 KB, so it will be a short read. This is a directory, so this will be a multi-story this.
But I've enjoyed the literary part of it, like reading and now getting off on that is quite
because then it's your imagination, right? It's like a horror movie. Right?
And words have some really powerful, I've written a couple of stories myself over there.
Yeah.
And
I write some literotica too. Maybe we should swap notes sometime.
We should. Or websites.
Amongst other things.
Yes. So, dear listeners, as you heard, we've been swapping a lot of things this afternoon. But do let us know if you have any other recommendation from the erotica space, literature, music, books, audio, anyway. But if you have never seen like Priyanka, now you have a whole bunch of stuff to explore now, and do lock the room when you do that. You don't want your mom walking in.
Or your sister.
Or your sister.
Yeah. And if she does, just act like you're dusting shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to know any more of this.
Cool. So that's it from us at IVM Likes. We are IVM Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Talk to us. We'll see you next week with a whole new episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Believe it or not, you stare at digital screens for 6 hours every single day. This makes your eyes age faster than the rest of your body. You're staring at screens as you're browsing through your Instagram or reading an ebook or even making a business proposal. What if your eyes could go to a natural spa and rejuvenate themselves? Made with the best ingredients sourced from nature, Setu IMAX is a modern health supplement that protects and rejuvenates your eyes from all that strain from digital screens. Setu IMAX is enriched with carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin, making it the perfect nutritional filter for the digital age. Check out www.setu.in to buy IMAX, and you can get up to 50% off if you use the promo code SETU50. Also, head to the Instagram page where we have a contest running for you. Share a screenshot of what you're watching on your phone right now, whether it's your Instagram feed or your favorite YouTube channel or anything else, and upload it to your stories using IMAX as a hashtag. That's IYEMAX. Also, make sure you tag Setu India and we'll give you a chance to win a TV binging kit from us. Protect your eyes, or rather, screen-proof them.
As you can see, we have a podcast listener in his natural habitat. Billions of years of evolution have led him to this point. He's on his way to work, and listening to podcasts makes his miserable day better. He will now head to work and use all his knowledge to communicate with other colleagues and possibly future mates. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out all the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.